Hey guys, Rubik'Snap here, and welcome to the second part video of 7x7 patterns. And in this video I'll be doing 4 more advanced patterns than the ones I did on the previous video, which is the basic pattern. So if you didn't check out that video yet, I recommend you do it after this one, so I'll leave the link in the description. It's 10 amazing patterns for the 7x7. Now let's do 4 more advanced ones. Starting with the cube in cube, I'll always be using yellow on top, blue to the front and red to the right. And let's start by turning this outer bigger cube clockwise, so the yellow will go here, and the red here, and the blue here. So let's do R2, F2, U2, R, D2, L prime, back prime, U 3 times, L, down 2, R. So we rotated this outer cube clockwise. Now let's do it again with 2 layers to rotate also this cube here. So with 2 layers, R2, there we go. Now let's do it again with 3 layers. There we go, that's the first part. We rotated all these 3 outer cubes. Now let's rotate these 3 inner cubes. So let's start by rotating this one with this algorithm. This is a different one. So L2 with 1 layer, R prime D prime RD, and again R prime D prime RD, U prime D prime R prime DR, and again D prime R prime DR, U L2. So this one is rotated this time anti-clockwise. So let's do it again with 2 layers to rotate this 2 block cube. And we're 1 step to getting there. Let's do it again with 3 layers. Cube in cube in cube in cube in cube in cube in cube. Now from this pattern you can do some variations, playing around with the colors. I did some videos about that for all the cubes, but for this is the same. I'll leave it here or in the description, so you can go check it out. Second one, the spiral pattern, and this one will have 2 steps, and the easiest way is to start by doing the 3x3 spiral algorithm. So let's start by doing L prime, back prime, down, U, R, U prime, R prime, D2, R2, down, L, down prime, L prime, R prime, F, U. So that's the spiral in the outer cube, and now let's take care of the inner pieces. And from here, first let's observe what we want. So we have here the blue side, and we have this red starting spiral. Okay, and now what we want is to bring the red here down, and then left, and then up and right. So we want to bring all these reds, these ones, and this one. So keeping that in mind, I want to bring these reds doing this shape. Let's first do a setup move to put the edges in the correct place, so that we don't have then to rotate the centers. I think the setup move is easier, so let's just do R, L, U prime, D prime, back 2. Keeping in mind we want here reds, 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 and red. So let's bring these 4 reds here with 3 cycles. So these 4 upper layers to the left. Let's bring this yellow layer down. Let's bring it back to the right, these 4 layers, and bring it back up. There we go, we have all these 4 reds. Now we want these 3 reds here, so let's bring these 3 ones. So let's bring this layer only, this red layer, to the left. Let's bring these 3 yellows down here. This is just 3 cycle moves. Now let's bring it back to the right, only this layer, like this, and bring it back up these 3 layers. And there we go, we have here these reds. Now let's bring these 2 up to this part of the spiral. So let's bring these 2 layers of the red here to the left. Now I want only these 2, so let's bring only this yellow layer down. Bring it back to the right, only these 2 layers. And bring it back up, only this 1 layer. There we go. And now only missing this one, this little red here, so let's bring only this layer. Remember, it's this one, it's the center piece, almost the center piece. So let's bring this one here, bring the yellow down, bring it back to the right, and bring it back up. And there we go, you see the spiral here, here, and here. Now let's undo the setup move, just doing it backwards, so back to U, down, R prime, L prime. And there we go, we have the spiral pattern. On to the next one, this is the tri-checker pattern. It's a kind of checkerboard, but with only 2 colors on each side. So first of all, let's start by doing the cross algorithm. This is an algorithm from the pattern that I did in the previous video. It will be here if you want to check it out now or later. So let's start by doing that algorithm with 1 layer, R2, L prime, down, F2, R prime, down prime, R prime, L, U prime, down, R, down, back twice, R prime, U, down 2. So with this, we twist all the corners. Remember, we're holding the cube like this, yellow on top, blue facing us. This is the front right upper corner. So we want to do this algorithm again, but from the opposite corner. So let's rotate the cube twice like this, and this will be the opposite corner, so rotate it like this. So you can rotate like this as well, yeah, this is the opposite corner. And from this angle, let's do the algorithm again with 2 layers. So and now let's do it again from the first angle. So let's rotate the cube again to bring the opposite corner again, this one. And now let's do it again with 3 layers, the same algorithm. So now all we have to do is to swap some inner pieces with recycle moves. So if you look, you have this blue going in this direction. This one should be yellow. This one should go like this, also blue. So these 2 pieces should be blue. This one as well, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So let's start by thinking about these 2 and these 2. So let's bring we need blue, so let's bring the blue to the left. So this layer and this layer. Like this. Let's bring these ones down to replace it. So it was these 4 pieces, remember? So let's bring this layer and this layer down. Now let's bring it back to the right, both layers. And bring it back up, these 2 middle layers. And there we go, we have these 2 blues here. And now we have to do this also for these 2 and these 2. So let's bring these 2 inner layers to the left like this. Bring these 2 outer layers down. Bring the 2 inner layers to the right, and the two outer layers back up. Alright, so we're getting like this mesh pattern. This already looks really awesome. Now all we have to do to complete the tri-checker pattern is to put like yellows here. So these three pieces, and these three pieces all need to be yellow. So let's bring these three layers down. Replace it with the red here. So we bring these three outer layers and the middle layer to the left. Bring it up. These three layers and bring it back to the right. And there we go, completed the tri-checker pattern. How cool is that? And now the last pattern is after doing this one. So after doing the tri-checker pattern, we're gonna put here a little cube. So it will be the cube in the checkerboard. So now all we gotta do is do some cube in cube algorithms. So for the inner layers, and then swap some inner pieces. So let's start by doing the cube in cube for inner layers. So that's the second algorithm we learned before. Starting with 3 layers to do like these 3 layers cube. Now we have to think like here we have yellow and blue. So here I want to have like a red side of the cube to make like a contrast. So I will need here a red and here a red. We have to rotate it anti-clockwise to bring this red here and this red to here. So to rotate anti-clockwise, we need to do the second algorithm of the cube in cube with 3 layers. So you see, we have here all these reds coming into place. And now I need to bring these two edges here into red also. So I also need to twist these 2 layers cube anti-clockwise. So let's do the same algorithm again with 2 layers. And now this is almost the final step. This red needs to go here, this blue here, and this yellow here. So this one needs to twist clockwise. So let's do the same algorithm, but backwards with 1 layer. So L2, U prime, R prime, D prime, RD, and again U, D prime, R prime, DR, and again L2. So there we go, we have like this peak, 3x3 peak here, and now all we have to do is to complete these 4 middle pieces to complete the cube. So this will be with 3 cycle moves as well. So now we have this blue here, this needs to be red, so I want to bring this red here. So let's put this red in the same position as this, so this is top right corner. Inner corner, of course. So let's rotate this with an R move to put it on top right as well. And I'll have to replace this one with this yellow. So let's also put this in the top right position with the U prime. So this will be the setup move, R U prime. Then I'll have to undo that with U R prime. So let's bring this red here with this layer coming left. Let's replace it with a yellow, so bring this layer down, bring it back to the right and back up. There we go, there's our red. Let's undo the setup move with U R prime. And now these 2 reds need to go here, so it's these 2 reds, so this is top right, like this cube. So let's put this on the top right as well with the U prime. And these 2 that will need to replace that color will also have to go top right, so let's do an R. So that was U prime R. I'll have to undo it with R prime U. So let's bring first this red one here, replace it with this blue, so bring this layer left, bring it back up, and back to the right. There's one red, and now let's bring this one as well, so this layer only coming down. Let's replace it with this blue. Let's move it up and back to the right, and there we go. So let's undo that setup move. So let's do R prime U, and we have the cube in a checkerboard pattern. So that's all for these advanced patterns on the 7x7. Make sure you watch my first part video with 10 more amazing patterns for this cube. Also make sure you watch my playlist of patterns for cubes all the way from 2x2 to 7x7 and some others as well. Also, if you're not yet subscribed, I don't see any reason for that, so take care of that now, right now, in this button right here. Leave me a like if this was useful. Let me know in the comment which was your favorite pattern out of these 4 patterns. And of course, if you want to buy new cubes, make sure you buy them from Cube Django using my discount code Rubik'Snap for a special price, and you support me as well in doing more and better videos. So that's it for this video, and we'll meet again in the next one. Bye bye.